All right, welcome back. We've been able to cut all the joints. Everything looks really good. I think it looks awesome. And now what we need to do is we need to add that little lip of wood that's going to go inside the box to keep the lid from falling off. So let's get to that. So what we're going to do when we create this lip is we're going to make it short of being the full inside width of the box. That way it doesn't have to go right up to the corner and bang into it and cause problems getting it in. It makes it a little bit harder when you have the corner filled out. Plus you've probably put glue in the corner, which means there's going to be something in the way of the lid sliding on. So I'm going to bring it back in one thickness of the box or of the material back in farther than I need to. And there'll be a little gap in the corner. But it'll still look nice. It'll just be a little easier to get in. So let's do that. To do this, I need to rotate it up so I can see the underneath of the box. And I'm going to create my extra piece of wood on here and extend it down past this line, just like a ½ centimeter. To do that, I need to create a sketch. And I'm going to create a sketch on the inside face of the back piece, just like this. The problem when it rotates is that now this is the front piece, not the back piece. So I'm going to actually turn off everything but the back because I want to be able, that's what I'm actually drawing on is the back. I mean, you can see it before, like if I put the left and the right back on, you can see my sketch planes on the back of the box. So I'm going to turn those off so I know. And the nice thing is I don't have to project anything because I know the insides of these tabs are where the wood stops up from above. So I'm actually going to create rectangle, and I'm gonna say I'm just gonna put a rectangle in here. Doesn't matter anywhere. I'm just gonna put a rectangle. I'll move it around in just a second. So this is gonna be okay. This is a little confusing to explain. So from this edge way out to this edge is the width of my box. Whatever that width is, that's the width. I want to make the piece of wood on the inside be two thicknesses of wood shorter because of the two outside pieces. I want to be inside the lid. And then I want to make it two more thicknesses shorter so that it doesn't go right up to the corner. So that's a total of 4 thicknesses shorter. So I'm going to grab this rectangle tool here and I'm going to click and I'm going to call this width because that's what it is. But I want it to be minus 4 times the thickness. And then I'm going to hit, well, not enter yet. I'm going to go to the other side. Whoops, I'm going to hit tab to the other side. And this one is going to be the height of the box minus the thickness of the piece of wood at the lid. So height minus thickness. Right? So see how that's lined up really nicely now? But that's all inside the lid. Then I want it to be another ½ centimeter higher. So I want to say plus 0.5 centimeters. Now it's in a weird place. I can position it now, but now I have it the right sizes. So I'm going to say enter. I'm going to say, okay, that looks fantastic. It just drew the box for me. Notice it's all blue because I haven't located it yet. So here's the way I'm going to locate this. I'm going to take I'm going to draw some construction lines. So I'm going to find the center of this bottom edge here. Whoops, construction line. Find the center of it. I'm going to draw a nice construction line this way. And then I'm going to, maybe that'll do it. Let's find out. So I'm going to use some constraint tools here. So what I want to do first is collinear. Collinear means that they're on the same line. So two things that are like overlapping are collinear, but they could be collinear like side by side as well, but they're on the same line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want this edge to be collinear with this edge. That just brought my rectangle down, right? And then I'm going to say I want this edge, and notice I'm making sure I just selected the whole edge of that rectangle to be midpointed with this line. And now there it is. It's centered inside on my lid, right? It's inside the lid and it's sticking out a ½ centimeter and it's short of this edge by a thickness of the piece of wood. So now my corner is going to be open. So I'm going to say, okay, that looks great. Finish my sketch. I'm going to extrude this out. I want this and this piece. I need both pieces. And I'm going to extrude this, because it's going to be a piece of wood, into the box. What just happened? I did not want to do that. Close that. I don't know what happened. I'm going to extrude again. Maybe I had the measure tool on or something weird. I don't know what happened. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make sure that's going into the box. And that is because it's the back of the box. Let me actually turn the sides on so we can make sure. So there's my left and right side. Yep, so I want to go up into the box, and I'm going to do thickness. And then I'm going to click. And it says join here. I don't want to join them because I want to break them apart later so I can lay them flat and get a cut lines for it. So I'm going to do Operation New Body, and I'm going to click OK. Awesome. And now you can see that this piece is two thicknesses, two pieces of wood thick. And this inside piece actually sticks down below. That's going to actually be what slides. This little piece at the bottom here is going to slide into the box and hold everything in place. So body 6, I'm going to call this back lip. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing for all 4 sides. Not super complicated. So I'm going to look over here on this side. So I'm going to say, yep, I want to click a sketch on that one. And I want to get this side. This is the left one, because when I hold over it, I can see it's there. Disappear that one. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to take away the, I'm going to take away the back and the back lip. And I'm just going to draw a rectangle. Again, doesn't matter where I position, I'll position it later. So this one is going to be the height minus 1 thickness. Tab. And this is going to be the width minus 4 thicknesses. 1 for each side. And 2 extra ones just to make it a little more narrow. Oops, 4 times thickness. Enter. And notice I made a mistake here. Like, this is actually supposed to be plus an extra ½ centimeter to get into the box. That's okay. I just double click on it and I say plus 0.5 centimeters. And just add to the formula. It does all the math for me. It's fantastic. All you gotta do is figure out what the formula is. Okay. So now I want a collinear tool, so I want them on the same line. So I'm going to say I want, oops, I already have this one selected, so that's problematic. Why is this weird like that? All right, so I'm going to hit collinear. This may not let me do this now. Notice my top and bottom are black. That means they're fixed already. I may have started on this edge, and it may not let me do this. Let's find out. If so, it's a good thing to learn. So I'm looking for collinear. There they are, collinear. I want to make this one collinear with this. Error. Failed to solve dimensions or constraints. So that's the problem, is they're already black. So I just need to Control Z and undo that rectangle. Like, there's nothing good about that, but that's how it is. So now this rectangle, I'm not going to start it on this edge here. I'm going to start it out in the middle of space, and I'll move it in just a second. So this is going to be, again, the height. Enter minus 1 thickness plus an extra ½ inch lip to go inside the box. So that's that side. Whoops, except I did not do this side, so I need to dimension this side. I don't have to go back, I can just hit dimension. And when this box pops up, instead of a number, I'm going to type in, this is where it's going to be the, width minus 4 times the thickness. Enter. And that's the right width. Now they're all blue, so now I can move everything around freely. So I'm going to do a collinear tool first, which means they're on the same line. This one with one of the bottom ones here. Doesn't matter which one I use. And then I'm going to do a construction line for the center. I'm going to find the center of this. Ooh, right there it was. And that's all I need. Just need a tiny little construction line. And then I'm going to take my midpoint tool. I'm going to say click at the midpoint of this, even with the midpoint of that. And everyone looks happy. Yeah, that looks fantastic. And now I'm going to extrude this. And I'm just going to extrude this part and this part. And I want to make sure I'm coming into the box and not out. So I'm going to turn the left on. So into the box would be, yep, in that direction. So I'm just going to do 1 thickness. and I'm going to hit enter. I just nailed that one. Now I've got 2 more to do. So I've got one on this side. So I'm going to turn on the, I'm going to turn off the right. I'm going to turn on the left. I'm going to leave it on, and I'm going to click on the inside face of this one, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. I think I screwed up on the last one. I think I used the word width when I should have used length. I'll have to go check that in a second. I'll show you how to check that. I changed my dimensions down to the even 15-15, and now everything's really confusing because I can't tell what's what when something's wrong. So that was a mistake not to make in the future. Next thing I need to do is, dimension this. Oh, I missed out my opportunity. So I'm going to hit D for dimension. I'm just going to add dimensions afterwards. Not a problem. So we have height minus a thickness plus 1/2 centimeter. And on this one, we're going to say this is going to be the length minus 4 times the thickness. 1 for each side and then 2 extra, just for fun. And then collinear, I'm going to line up this tool with this tool, and then I'm going to do a quick construction line. And I'm going to go from the midpoint, oh, there it was, and I'm going to go down this time. Doesn't matter which way you go, it's going to line up in the middle no matter what. And then I'm going to do the midpoint here and here, and now that looks great. I'm going to extrude this. Click on this one and that one, and I'm going to extrude 1 thickness. Woo, now we're getting into it. Now we're getting into it. Oh, except it did join, so I'm going to Control Z, and I'm going to do that more carefully. So I'm going to check my settings here, here, and I want operating, so I want thickness, enter. Oh, and see, it changed the join. I wanted this to be new body, and I'm going to click OK here. Now I'm going to go back, and I need to find that last extrusion and check it to make sure I've got 2 pieces. Let me turn the right side back on, and let me take a look. I'm pretty sure, yeah, see how it merged it? You can see it's 1 piece here. So that what I'm going to do here is go back to it, and when I highlight this last extrusion, you can see that's the one. So I'm going to click on it, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say Edit Feature. That's going to bring the box back up, and instead of join, I can say new body there. So now I just went back and I fixed that. So that looks good. And then the last thing I want to check is my sketch to make sure I used length here instead of width. So I've got to find that sketch, which is that one right there. So I click on it and it shows me which one it is. So in here I'm going to right click and go to Edit Sketch. You may not need to do this because you may have caught, if I made a mistake, you may have caught it already. I'm going to check this one, and see I did. I used the word width here, and it should be length. If I left this the way it was, it would work until I changed the length different than the width. Then there'd be 3 widths instead of 2. So I needed to fix that. So there's that. And this one's height, so yeah, that one's totally fine. So it's exactly what it used to be. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to hit Finish Sketch, and it's going to work me back through all the sketches I've done and update everything I've done after that. So it just kind of ripples through everything and fixes stuff on the way back around. All right, so now I've done, well, let's do these real quick. So this is body 7. This is the back. So this is the left side on this one. So I'm going to call this left lip, and that means this one must be the right lip. I like naming the bodies, that way I don't have this huge list of bodies. I'm like, I don't know what any of this stuff is. You can also name all of these what they did, so you can actually click on them instead of combine 4, you could call it what it is. I don't go to that level of detail. All right, last one I need. So I need the front. Yeah, it doesn't have one yet. So I'm going to create a sketch right there on the front face. I'm going to get rid of everything but the front. And again, I'm just going to draw a rectangle. And I'm going to call this height minus thickness plus that extra little 0.5 lip for below, and that's that one. Oops, I hit enter too many times, so I'm going to do the D for dimensioning tool. Click on the side that I need to dimension still. And this one is width. This is where I want the width. Minus 4 times the thickness. Enter, and there it is. So my first order of business is to line it up. I want it to be collinear in the same line with this one. So now they're together in the same line. And then I'm going to do construction line, find the middle of this one, and escape. And then I'm going to do a midpoint between this edge and that line. And everything is perfect. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. So it should be right along this bottom edge, and there should be a little bit of space on either side. I'm going to extrude that. I'm going to choose this one and this one. And I'm going to pull it towards me into the box. Let me make sure it's into the box. Yep, into the box, a thickness. Enter. And it says join again. I'm going to learn my lesson and say new body. I almost push enter again, but I learned my lesson. I'm sure it won't last. Front lip. All right, so now I'm going to turn them all back on so we can see them and see what it does and what it looks like. That is it. Notice how right in this corner, there's a little piece of wood missing right in there. That's going to allow the box to slip on. So this is all of this. These little pieces are going to be inside the box. They're going to slide right in. We're going to have to glue this piece to that piece, right? We'll have to line them up and glue them all in there. And then once they're glued in there, it's going to be fantastic. All right, so that's it. That's the lid. It's all done. We just need to flatten it now, and then we'll send it out to Fusion 360. Flattening is just like the other one, but you have this extra step of having to flatten and move one extra piece for it. So I'll show you how to do that in the next lesson in case you forgot. And then we'll be able to send it to Inkscape, design, like put some cool stuff on this because it's going to be the lid. It's got to be cool. And then from there, we will cut them. Awesome.